Hey, Jamie Stenhouse here, currently in New York on the Brooklyn Bridge, and tonight I want to talk about how to avoid self-sabotage. So self-sabotage is a huge topic, and it's one of those things that we know we shouldn't do, but it always seems to creep up on us, if it be through small habits or through lies we tell ourselves, or even through pure accident. And through my experience through a lot of different industries and working with a lot of clients, and also through my own personal goals and objectives, I've seen one phrase that happens again and again to myself, my friends and my clients. And I want to share with you that phrase so that you can hopefully see when self-sabotage begins to set on, so that you can avoid it, so you can counteract it, and hopefully not make it become a long-term habit when you are pursuing your goals. So if you're doing any long-term goal that requires you to put in effort and energy every day, every 2 or 3 days, if it be a health goal, working on a project, starting a new company, working on your speech, or pursuing an education at uni or anything like that, I'm sure you've said this to yourself a few times, and that is, at least I went, or at least I did X. If it be another paragraph, or if it be another set, or two or three more repetitions, at least you went. And that can be a very dangerous thing to say to yourself, because you're almost congratulating yourself on self-sabotage. You're making it okay that you didn't put in your full effort, but at least you showed up. And to some degree, that's a crucial element of success, but what it comes down to is giving 100%, going all in 100% of the time, regardless of how you feel, and simply following the process rather than your emotions or your energy or how you feel at the present time. Instead, it's about, putting in the work, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about that plenty of times before. So when you catch yourself saying, well, I didn't want to go, but I pushed through resistance and procrastination, that's fantastic. That's a great mindset to have, and you want to obviously push through that as much as you can to create that habit and create that discipline, whereby you then build a muscle and the endurance to actually not have to tell yourself, at least I went. You want to get to the point of course I went, I always go, or of course I do it, I always do it, right? You don't want to create a habit of, well, at least I went again, and at least I went again, and at least I went again, right? You want to look at it from the point of view of, okay, I went, I may not have put in 100%, that's fine, but what can I do next time so that I don't have to tell myself or congratulate myself that I just went, that I just put in enough energy and effort into it, as opposed to showing up early, putting in the work, being completely present, being happy to be involved in the work and going through it at 100%, so that you don't have to congratulate yourself and lie to yourself, whereby you feel good that you went, that at least you went, right? And you see a lot in the health industry with people who are trying to begin training, especially, whereby they don't want to go to the gym, but they go for 10 minutes and, at least they went. So that's better than not going at all. And while that's true, what tends to happen is they feel comfortable, they feel good in congratulating themselves for just going. So of course, what happens next time? They go again for, 10 minutes again, or even less this time, and say, well, at least I went this time as well. And at least I went this time, and you know what? I don't have time today, but I'll do half of the amount I did last week, and it begins to shrink down more and more until eventually they don't go, because they haven't built up that habit. They have built up a foundation and a belief and a character on, at least I went, at least I did the bare minimum effort to at least attend, show up, and say that, hey, I went to the gym today. So when you catch yourself saying to your friends or your family or your clients, or even to yourself, at least I went, just stop, pause, and think about that for a moment. Because while it's good that you did go and that you did push through that resistance, procrastination, and all of that, you don't want to build a character or a belief system around just going, around keeping score for the amount of times you went, as opposed to keeping a score for the amount of home runs you hit, right? Not just walking out onto the field, but the actual home runs. It's a big difference when it comes down to it. So that's just a bit of advice, a bit of insight from my own personal experience through many different industries and goals I've achieved and goals that I'm still working on, and goals that I have to pull myself out of and go, you know what, I did go, but it's not enough. I can't tell myself at least I went, or at least I did a bit of work today, right? No. That's okay, but remember what you're playing for. Remember that the scoreboard is about the scores, not just showing up.